and we will get started really soon. All right, let's see here. What is happening? Okay. Well, I think it's working. Okay, I see a thumbs up. I think that means that you can hear me and see me. Hello, hello, and welcome. It has been a minute. This is what my teenage boys say. It's been a minute, which actually means it's been a long time since I have been live with you guys here on Facebook and YouTube. And I will not go into all of the details as to why, but just to kind of sum it up, I had just sort of taken a leave from everything. So I was just not feeling like myself. I wasn't doing well. Just anyway, I was really like burnt out, and just we had a lot going on in our family. And as difficult as it was, I just knew that the only way for me to kind of heal and recover and get better was to just kind of take a really, I don't even know what the word is, just sort of like do like a hard stop on everything that had been just keeping me so busy that I wasn't focusing on myself. So I have been taking really good care of myself, which I think is like the first time I've done that in my whole life. And I still am kind of just dealing with some physical things and mental health and emotional things. But I have found my way back into my craft room recently, and I have been loving being back with my paper and ink and stamps and tools and all the things. And I hope that for those of you that have been watching for a while and have been showing up every Sunday morning to have your coffee with me, just please know that it wasn't easy for me to step away from this, and that every Sunday morning I would think about my friends on Facebook and YouTube and our community here. And I longed to be with you guys, but I knew that I needed to just put that on the back burner for a while. So okay, I'm seeing that the screen is frozen for Janice. I hope that it's not on my end, but if anyone else is having some freezing issues, please let me know. Okay, I see some friends have joined. Hello, Karen. Hello, good morning, Terry. Hello, Janice French. Hello, Gail. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Debbie. Thank you so much for your comments and for being here and for your supportive messages about the importance of taking care of ourselves. And thank you, Janice Keels. Yes, I'm not gonna talk too much about it, because one thing I have done over the last little while is released a lot of emotion. I've been seeing my therapist regularly, and one of the things that, and I'm going to share this openly and be really vulnerable because I don't think I'm alone in this. One of the things that I had become so accustomed to doing was to just sort of be on autopilot and do for everybody else, and really kind of not deal with my own emotions of pain, sadness, anger, happiness, like all of it. I think I was just doing. And so in this season where I have been really kind of seeking out support for my mental and emotional health as well as my physical health, one of the things that has sort of come up a lot is the importance of releasing emotion. And for me, that's a lot of crying. So the reason I say that is because don't be surprised if you see a little bit of welling up as I read some of your messages. But releasing emotion is something that has been really kind of healing for me, and lots of tears have been shed, but in a good way, like just releasing things that I had been pushing down. So I share that because I know it has nothing to do with crafting, although I've realized it does. I think that in this society and the world that we live in, it can get very easy to get caught up in doing, and just the day-to-day hustle and busyness. And I think that one of the that can be detrimental, because we may not give ourselves enough time to just sort of get quiet and really connect with ourselves, and just pay attention to some of those things that later on could end up being bigger things. So anyways, let's get started with the crafting. I am seeing so many friends joining. Good morning, Andra. Good morning, Natalie. And I saw on Facebook that it's your birthday. So happy birthday. Let's all wish Natalie a happy birthday. I hope I got that right. I haven't been on Facebook too much. So for those of you that have been celebrating birthdays, I will not have been posting because I haven't really been on social media a whole lot. Good morning, Mindy. And thank you for your message. Yes, making myself a priority. I think I always thought that was kind of I thought I was doing that because I was making time for crafting and things like that. But for me, crafting had also become something that I was doing for others, and I was always agonizing over my card designs and not sleeping enough and getting up early to manage my stamping business. And I had sort of disconnected from the joy of it. And I'm being really kind of raw and honest here. I loved the crafting, but I think I was more consumed by making sure everything was perfect and that the cards were nice. And, if I made mistakes in my StreamYard, like inside, I would be really kind of like, oh my God, I screwed that up. And I'm just letting go. So you guys are going to see me perfectly imperfect, embracing it all. And I encourage you all to do the same if by any chance you're not already doing that. Yes, Debbie, it's so true. It's so typical for us as women to take care of everyone but ourselves. And I was so doing that. And we had a really hard year as a family. And I was sort of priding myself on being there for everybody else. But I realized, when they say you can't pour from an empty cup, I really kind of came to a point where I had no choice but to accept that. And so yeah, my cup is not quite full. I still am kind of working on just taking care of myself. It's still a long journey, but I am certainly doing better, and I'm happy to be here. And Shonda says, yay, my Sundays will be complete again. Oh, thank you for saying that. I will say I'm not necessarily going to commit to be here every Sunday morning, because I won't lie, I have had some really slow, peaceful Sundays with my family, and they have been lovely, and my family has loved being able to just chill on Sunday mornings. And so I'm going to kind of figure out how and when I'm going to show up, but I do really miss crafting with you guys. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Anise. And you are welcome for your birthday card. Oh, thank you, Heather. You guys are so sweet. Okay, I'm talking a lot and still no tears have fallen. So that's kind of a good thing, but let's move on to the crafting just to be sure. Okay, let me shift this. Okay. So this is the card that I'm going to be sharing with you all today. For those of you that have been stamping for a while and have, had your hands and eyes in the catalogs, this will look familiar to you. But for those that haven't seen our catalogs recently, we have a stamp set that's come out called Thanks a Bunch. It was released early January. And as you can see, there are carrots and leaves and lots of fun little sentiments. And one of the great things about this is that it's a free stamp set with a qualifying order. So that's part of our celebration promotion. And it runs from January 5th to February 28th. So it's 2 months long. And so it'll be ending at the end of this month. And in it, we have a bunch of different stamp sets, papers. I think that's it, stamp set and papers that you can get for free with a qualifying order. So I'm going to be using 2 of those items today. One of them is the Thanks a Bunch stamp set. And again, it's free, and there are 19 photopolymer stamps, and photopolymer just means that they're clear all the way through. I see Debbie's comment. I thought at first that this stamp set was odd, but I really love it now. Yeah, this was the first card that I made with it. And spoiler alert for those of you that are on my team and participated in our January swap, because this is my swap card. But there are just lots of gorgeous designer series papers, and a lot of them coordinate with our products in our January to April mini catalog. Okay. So there are lots of different papers here. One of the other products that I'm going to be using today is this mega pack of paper. It's called Dandy Designs. It's 12 by 12. You get 48 sheets, and I'll just I'm not going to go through all of them because that would take a long time because there's so many sheets, but I'll just I'll just do like a quick flip through. So there's lots of fun colors. And me and my love of pink. This looks a bit orange on the screen, but it's actually petal pink. And it has these fun little patterns. We've got this one here. I'll be using this today. And I know that my lighting does not do it justice. Good morning, Barbara. Thank you. It's so nice to see your name popping up. We've got this one here. So this has like a lot of beautiful pastel colors. My favorite sort of color combo in these patterns of paper, but you can just see that the sky is the limit in terms of what you could do, the types of projects you could make. They would be great for scrapbooking, masculine cards, feminine cards, kids, adults, you name it. Like there's just something in here for everyone. So this would be like a really great paper pack to just, if you're kind of dabbling in paper crafting, and there's just so many different possibilities. There's, I don't know, I can't even think of a card that you would need to make that you wouldn't have paper for with this pack. So I'm going to set that aside, but that is one that's free with a $120 purchase. Okay. So that's kind of how our celebration items work. We have level 1 and we have level 2. And so you can get that for free if your order total exceeds those thresholds. Okay. So it's a really great time to stock up on your paper crafting supplies because I don't know, you can get free stuff, and who doesn't want free stuff? Okay. So here's my card. I've got my materials already prepared. I will share measurements if anybody should want them. And I'm going to just adjust my lighting here. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this. Good morning, Shelly. Okay, so we are going to start by taking out our cardstock. I'm a little annoyed by the lighting here. Maybe it's just it might be my computer. Okay. Yeah. So this is Pale Papaya. This is one of our in colors. I think it may look a little yellow or orangey. It is like a really pale pastel orange. And then I've got this piece of designer series paper. And what you'll see me do, I'm going to cut this on an angle, and you'll see that it really doesn't, the measurements for this are not hugely important. You can vary them and still get the same look. And then I've got a piece of white cardstock that I'm going to do my stamping on. And then I've got a couple of other little bits and bobs here that I will use for my sentiment. So let's start by just cutting this designer series paper. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my trimmer and I'm just going to kind of put this on a bit of an angle here, maybe like so. And I'm just going to slide that across. Okay. So I'm just cutting it on a little bit of an angle. It just creates a nice visual detail. Good morning, Shirley. So it just creates a really nice kind of visual detail behind your stamped layer. So I'm just going to set that down on my cardstock like that after. Okay. Let's move on to the stamping. So I am going to grab my piece of white cardstock. And again, if you want measurements, just pop that in the comments and I will share it with you. It's a really simple card. I didn't use any I didn't use my cut and emboss machine. So there's no die cutting or texture embossing required here. And so I'm just using white cardstock. So really all you would need is a trimmer and your paper and your stamps and your ink. So I'm going to start, I'm using 2 different colors for the carrots. Here we go. Okay. So I found as I was making these cards that for me, it was easier. These are 2-step stamps. So I'll just show them to you on the block. One is sort of like the outline of the carrot. And then the other is this kind of detail here that just gives it some depth. So I found for me that it was easier to stamp the more detailed image first and then go over it with the outline in a lighter color. So go with whatever you feel works for you with the 2-step. And sometimes I find it depends on the stamps themselves, but I'm just going to go 4 times and I'm going to stamp a little kind of like, they're not all going to be, you know, perfectly linear or perfectly symmetrical. I'm just kind of making them look like a bunch of carrots. Okay. Barbara says this is the only set she hasn't gotten from the celebration. When I first saw this one, I was like, ooh, carrots. Like it feels a bit limiting. Like how many different cards can you make that are carrots? But as I started to play with it and see more cards on Pinterest, I was like, actually, it's kind of cute. So, and the fact that it's free doesn't hurt much. So, good morning, Joy. Hello, my friend. Okay, so I know it's for those that are joining a little late. I know if you had been watching my Coffee and a Card regularly, you may have noticed that I haven't been on for, I think, maybe like 3 months. So I did explain in the beginning of my video that I had just needed to take a little bit of time off. And I'm not necessarily going to commit to doing this every week. I'm just kind of dabbling again and enjoying crafting and just kind of, I had really kind of gone for a while where I wasn't placing any kind of demands on myself other than, you know, really parenting and appointments and things like that. So we'll see how this goes. But it is really nice to be back with all of you today, and my hands are shaking. But as you can see, I'm just taking the lighter ink color and just stamping over it, okay? So it's a little brighter than it really looks in person, but I can get over that if you guys can. Okay, so now I'm going to do the leaves. And I'm just starting with soft seafoam. So this is a really light green. And again, there doesn't have to be sort of perfect placement. You're just kind of making it look, you know, like a bunch of carrots. So I'm just going to do that. And then maybe I'll add one stamped off just for a little bit more depth. You almost can't even really see it. And then I'm going to go over top of that with this other leaf. Okay. And I'm going to go with a slightly darker color. So I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz. And Barbara's asking, what colors did I use on the carrots? I used Pumpkin Pie and I used Mango Melody. Okay. Sorry, Pumpkin Pie and Pale Papaya. So the outline, the lighter color is Pale Papaya. And then the darker one is Pumpkin Pie. If you have Mango Melody, which is like a bright yellowish orange, you could use that as well. I would encourage you to just use whatever you have on hand, and you'll still get a similar look. Okay, so now I'm just kind of going over top with these leaves. And that is it for our carrots. Okay, so we've got that done. And then I'm going to do my sentiment. So for our swap this month, the theme was friendship. I have a lovely team member, Maureen, who keeps us all organized in terms of our swaps. And it's so nice for us to be able to pull out our stamping stuff and create and then send cards to each other. So I used the sentiment that says, there's no one quite like you. And I guess that applies to carrots as well. You'll never find two that look exactly the same. And so that's a little blotchy, but it's okay. So I have got my stamping done, and I'm just using this piercing mat because when I'm using photopolymer on this surface, sometimes the distribution of ink is uneven. So, okay, I think we are ready to start assembling. Like, I'm not kidding when I say this is a really simple card. So I'm going to just grab my bone folder, and I'm going to just set that up there. I think maybe I'll use my liquid glue. I was going to use my stamp and seal, but let's see if my liquid glue is going to cooperate with me. Yep, here she goes. All right, so I'm just putting some liquid glue, and what this allows me to do is just shift things if I need to. Like if it's not aligned well with the edge of the card, then I can just move things around. So just turning this to the side, and I'm just going to align the bottom first and then the sides. Okay, so the width of this piece of pattern paper is the same as the width of the card base. So it's just going from end to end, and then I've just cut it on a little bit of a diagonal here. Okay, and then we will take the stamped part, which is, as you can see, it's kind of like an inch smaller width-wise and lengthwise. So again, I can share the measurements if you want to replicate this exactly. And I always find sometimes just finding a layout. So just the way that this is laid out, even if you don't have this particular stamp set, you can use the same sort of structure for almost any card that has stamped images. And I'm having word finding difficulties with stamped images and sentiments. Okay, let's do a little bit more glue here. And I'm just going to stick this down onto, this is another pattern from that designer series paper pack. And I just wanted to add a little bit of contrast. And I also chose this fresh freesia, which is just this light purple, because I wanted to pull in the purple from the dots on that pattern paper. Okay. Hello, Carol. Thank you so much. So nice to see these names popping up again. It's nice to be back. Okay, so we are just going to assemble and embellish. So before I stick down my sentiment, I'm going to use my most favorite. This is like one of my most favorite embellishments. It's linen thread. It's really inexpensive. I think it's like $6.75 for a roll. And you get, how many yards? 15 yards. So it lasts a really long time. And what I love to do with it is just to create a little bow and tuck it behind the sentiment. So just going to cut that. There we go. And I'm just going to fix the loops here. And then I'm just going to set it down on an angle. These loops are being a little bit, or sorry, the tails are being a little funny. Hello, Denise. It's good to see your name popping up. And I apologize. So many of you have messaged me over the last little while and, to check in on how I'm doing. And I haven't been able to respond to, it's not that I haven't been able to, I chose to not be on my phone a lot over the last little while. And so I haven't necessarily responded to all the messages, but I really want to thank you for your consideration and concern and just thinking about me and reaching out. It really helped me to know that there were just, I don't know, people out there that were thinking of me. So I'm sorry if I didn't respond, but it's not because I didn't want to. It was just because I was just choosing to limit my stimulation, I guess. Okay, so I am just using dimensionals here and I'm sticking this down like so. And I'm going to just grab my iridescent pearls. You could use like almost any embellishment on here. I'm just going to use the iridescent pearls just to add a little bit of shine and shimmer. And I'm just going to do kind of one up here, one down here, and one like so. You could add more on the right side, but I just kind of wanted to keep it a little simple. So there you have the card. Okay, and Denise is saying, I know what it's like when you hit a wall. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Denise, and I hope that that gets better. It's sometimes the only thing that you can do is just literally hit pause on everything and then just take the time to get your mind clear and just get yourself better. All right, so because I don't want to leave you guys just yet, because this has been fun, I'm going to... Maybe I'm going to use this pattern here just to add some interest to the envelope. And if I remember correctly, I think it's like 2.5 by 6 inches that I do. So I'm just going to take, and when you have this much patterned paper in a pack, it makes sense to just throw it on whatever you can. So they say no naked envelopes. So we are going to dress up this envelope. And I'm going to use this pattern here, which is the same one that I use behind the sentiment. Thank you, friends. I see people saying they didn't really like this set, but that they find this card really cute. Yeah, it's just a really simple, it is a cute card. And the sentiments are really, I love punny sentiments. So everything's coming up carrots and thanks a bunch or love you a bunch. Like, I just love that stuff. So it's really cute. Would I buy it if I paid for it? I don't know. I think because I was able to choose it for free, that certainly helped. So, if you have celebration choices and you could see yourself using this particular stamp set for a bunch of cards. And sometimes even if you don't want to use the carrots, you could use, there's like all sorts of other little images you could use for the background. There's these little dots. And of course, the sentiments are really cute. So you could just use the sentiments and not have to use the carrots if you kind of are feeling like you want to make a project that doesn't require them. There's a lot of really cute greetings in there. So I'm just cutting this along the outline of the flap. There you go. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm kind of glad that technology cooperated with me today. I was like, maybe if it doesn't, then it's a sign I need to go back into hiding. But yeah, I'm glad you guys could all hear me and see me okay. So here we go. That is, hello, Maureen. I don't know if you just jumped on, but we were just talking about you. I was just talking about you being our awesome swap coordinator. So you can see how that sort of pulls everything together. And I don't know about you, but if I got something like this in the mail or someone gave it to me, that would just make my day. So I hope that you guys, oops, I'm a little high there. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. It's so good to be back with you all. I'm going to just look at the comments. Oh, Liz says, I saw another demonstrator use the carrot stamp on its side to make a line of trees on a card. I'll have to look and see what that looks like because I can't even picture it. So all right. Okay. Well, I am so glad to have been here with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me and for just welcoming me back to the world of Facebook and YouTube so kindly. And yeah, it's really nice to see all your comments, and this was a lot of fun for me. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I know some of you may have not have asked for the measurements, but I think I'm going to just go ahead and post them so that in case you do want to create something similar, you can. And I hope you all have a great day. Happy crafting. Feel free to comment if you have any questions. And hopefully we'll see you guys all soon. Bye for now.